Hello and welcome to this video. This is a video for C++ programming. It's not a crash course for beginners, and what I'm going to teach you in this program is how to write a Roman numeral program that I wrote myself. It's actually in the C++ book, chapter 14, and problem number, it's on page 713, and it doesn't tell you how to solve the problem, but I did the problem and I solved the problem and wrote this program to do that. Most likely this video will be three videos, all within 9 minute to 10 minute videos. You have to watch all three, and in first two will probably finish the program, and in the final one I'll explain how it works. And now let's begin. So include iostream, and we're going to include string. Include string, and then we're going to using namespace std. And this is a class program, so in the class program we're going to use a constructor, we're going to use some for loops, some arrays, and we're going to use functions, and at the end we'll create our main program. So first we're going to start by creating our class, and we have to define our class. For this we're going to name it Roman type. We need a brace, and now we're going to say private. And we're going to say integers m, d, c, l, x, v, and I. And we're going to create a string r, and then we're going to create two more integers, and they're going to be sum and z. And now we're going to move on to our public. In our public, we're going to create our constructor, and our constructor is going to be Roman. We're going to go down to the next line. Roman type. And we're going to say m is equal to 1000, comma, d is equal to 500. Make sure you put parentheses around these, comma, c is equal to 100, comma, l is equal to 50, x is equal to 2, and I is equal to, or v is equal to 5, and I is equal to and we'll enter constructor there. Now that we created our constructor, we're going to create our function, and our function is going to be of a void type, and we're going to say void set Roman. Then we're going to say cout. So we're going to console out, and we're going to say Roman number values. You gotta use quotation marks there. Roman number r, and we'll put a space there. Put quotation marks here. We're going to move on to the next lines, but we're going to try and space this all in one tiny section so we can see it. And we're going to actually copy this line just to make our job easier. So we're going to tell the user that this is going to be our values of our Roman numbers, and they can use these numbers to input their Roman number values. And we're going to paste it right here. Make sure you put quotation marks around this. And then we're going to end that line. NDL. And now we're going to tell the user, we're going to make a space. So console out, NDL, and then we're going to say C out, enter a Roman number. So this we're telling the user to enter a Roman number, and we're also going to tell them to use caps. Use capital letters. And put a space there. And then we'll say CN R. So the user will enter R, and that will be our string. Now once we create our string, we're going to create three variables, and two are going to be integers, and one we're just going to set a value to 0. So we're going to create end is equal to 0, f of 10, and you put brackets, and you say equal, actually equal, then we're going to use a brace, 0, brace, semicolon. Now that you've done that, it's actually an array of 10, and we're filling it to 0. Now we're going to set 0. Sum is equal to 0. Now we're going to create our first for loop. For loop is for integer I is equal to 0. Well, R of I is true. We got to put a semicolon before the I. And let's get rid of this 1. I plus. And for that loop, actually give end a value, and we're going to say end plus plus, and we need a semicolon there. Okay, and that concludes our first for loop, and now we're going to create our second for loop, and this is going to test for our characters. For integer I is equal to 0, while I is less than end I plus plus, and we'll say we put a bracket, and we'll say we're going to create a character, and that character is going to be x, and we're going to say x is equal to R of I. So character x is equal to R of I. And now we're going to create an if statement, and that if statement is going to test that character. If x is less than end and x is greater than L, then Z equals M. And that's capital M, because we use capital above. Okay, and we're going to stop the video here. We're going to leave off where this if statement is, and that if x is less than, not comma, is less than n and x is greater than L, Z is equal to M. And we should have concluded our second for loop. So move on to video number 2, and we'll continue on from the if statement.